Hello, this is Jennifer Petersen, and welcome to the Tea Pods podcast. This is the show for tea enthusiasts. It's all about tea education, tea travel, and tea business. It's time to get started. Let's welcome today's guest. Her enthusiasm towards tea and tea-related tea-ware led her to open a new business. She learned about tea from tea masters in China and formed relationships with them. Her goal now is to bring Chinese-style tea culture to the United States and spread her enthusiasm for tea with others. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Feng Han-Hirt.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning. Thank you so much for your patience in getting started. We had some little blips here. I have some questions for you and to acquaint people a little bit more about your business. Tell us about you. And first of all, because you'll see different spellings and how I'm talking about you, tell us a little bit about your name.
Okay, so my real Chinese name is Han Feng. Han is my family name. Feng is my first name, which means phoenix. And in the US, most people cannot say Feng. So I have a nickname, Fei, F-A-Y, which is easier for people to say it. And after getting married here with my husband, then I added his last name, Hirt. So you'll see Fei Han-Hirt.
That's also good for tracing genealogy. As far as if you're using Ancestry or something and people go to check your name, then they're going to be looking for the Hirt as well as your maiden name. Thank you for explaining that to us. And you're right. I think most people would find it easier and to pronounce Fei. So we appreciate you doing that. For sprouting tea and leaf, how did you get started? What does sprouting tea and leaf actually do?
Okay, so my enthusiasm towards tea and tea-ware led me to open a tea business. I learned about tea from tea masters in China and form relationships with them. The goal now is to bring Chinese-style tea culture to the US and spread my enthusiasm for tea with others. And the sprouting tea and leaf is all things about tea. We strive to provide ultra-premium tea, loose leaf, compact, and tangerine tea. We also carry a variety of Gongfu tea-ware, including tea sets, teapots, teacups, and tea accessories.
And how did you come up with your logo and your name for your business?
For sprouting tea, sprouting represents the growing the inside energy of the plants and is related to the nature. So I want through this tea business, I hope to express it's like a philosophy to people that you have to have the inner peace in the peaceful mind in your life, and then all the spirit and strength from inside of your body, and then you can work towards anything in the world. So what you need is the inside of your mind to keep growing instead of chasing all the outside stuff, say like chasing money, chasing a house, chasing some reputation. That's all the stuff outside is not inside of your body. That's what I want people to know, what is important in their life, and then recognize it, and then have a peaceful life.
Well, you're right. There are things that we sometimes get so hooked up in becoming more important or developing names for ourselves, and it just all disappears. And we get so caught up, we're tense. So sprouting tea and leaf and the concept, the mission of it is exactly where we want to be with that calm and tranquility in our lives, besides the healthy aspects of tea. We've gone through a lot of changes these last few months, to say the least. How has COVID impacted your business, and how are you pivoting to retain customers? But mostly, what impact? How did this impact you?
So I was on a tea trip when COVID began. At the beginning, I was planning to do the tea trip in China for 1 month and a half, but then it was January last year. But then because of the COVID, I cannot leave China. And then later, I was able to leave China, but then the COVID became very bad in the US that everything was shut down. I was not able to fly back. Um, my my airplane tickets were canceled like 5 times. It
Mm.
was very tough. And I ended up staying there for about 10 months. But I'm glad that during those 10 months, I was able to focus on learning about tea from all the tea friends and tea masters in China, learn more about how to prepare the tea, how to brew it, how to taste different kinds of tea, how to do the tea cupping, and so on. I've learned so much that I think it will be very helpful for my business here. Finally, in October last year, I came back and I started my business here. And I'm mainly focusing on Facebook page, Instagram, and Etsy recently, and I will also have I'm also I also have some other accounts on Pinterest and Twitter. Hopefully, it will get better soon. My business.
Well, you and I met on in the team of business professionals group, and I was so impressed with your photographs. They're absolutely amazing. And so, when you're taking photographs and you're traveling like this, there's a good, bad, and an ugly a part of, like, you're talking about being stuck in China. That's some ways that's a good thing because of how you spent your time. But what was that like for you personally? I mean, did your husband travel with you, or how did that work?
Sadly, my husband did not travel with me because he had to stay in the US, keep working, and it was the most difficult. The most difficult part at that time was we were not together. He was here and I was there. It was so tough, but I'm so glad that we went through it. And finally, I'm so glad that I came back here for him. And then we are doing this tea business together. I'm glad that he helps me a lot and he's been always supporting me so well. Thank you, Sawyer Hurt. I
That's
really
great.
appreciate that.
Well, I must say that your photographs indicate the quality of your product, because we can even see, like, from the one on the screen right now, the full leaf and how it's developing during that infusion on the right-hand side. That's a gorgeous pic. Whoever plucked that did a good job.
That was made by my friend. Is this one, this little tiny teacup?
Uh-huh.
A friend back in China in my hometown. He is a Nissin tea-ware maker, and he made this one, gave it to me as a gift when I was visiting. It was great. And the bottom left one, it was also made by my other friend. She's great on um, engraving. And actually, we can also do some personalized about this tea-ware. It looks like some customers are really interested in that.
They're gorgeous. Do you have them in your store now?
Yes, I have several in store. Um, this is the one I'm using often.
Yes.
And I also have some listed on my Etsy shop. Can you tell the engraving? They're
Uh,
all handmade.
Somewhat. I think toward the end, if you'll hold that up again after I get finished with the slides,
Okay,
at the end when we go back to our one-on-one, and hold that up, and then maybe tell us about your Etsy shop, because I don't have a link for that showing for
okay,
people that are interested in purchasing from you.
that's fine.
Those custom-made designs are hard to find. These are not coming off the run of the mill. These are absolutely gorgeous. The same
Thank you.
thing with the tea, it's unique. And for those of us that are actually caught up in finer teas and wanting finer teas rather than just something off the shelf, we're sourcing things. So that would be great if you tell us how to get those. Now, when you before deciding to put your teas or your tea-ware on the market, obviously these are some personal connections that you've got here as far as fine tea-ware. But how do you make a decision then on what you're going to actually put on the market? Because you can't just, a person just can't fling something out. You've got to know, you can't buy everything and offer everything. How are you deciding on this on your niche market?
Okay, yeah, I've done a lot about market research. I've researched the market a lot in the past about 2 years. I look at I talk to customers about their demands and their feedbacks too. I've been making more and more tea friends in the US, and we communicate every day. And also I do the tea cupping and tea tasting sometimes. And then I have, oh, I also, of course, I also communicate to a lot of the other tea professionals like you and some other in our group. And um, I made tests by sending out tea samples to trusted individuals and evaluate their feedback. I also see which teas are most popular to consumers for other brands. And of course, each of the teas I list must pass a personal test because I wouldn't want to provide someone with a tea which I myself wouldn't drink.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And after you've had so much experience, especially with the Chinese tea masters and with the travel and with the tasting, it refines the palate. Pretty soon you
Yeah.
begin to know, you pick it up and even from the aroma of it, uh, you almost know what it's going to taste like when you start smelling.
Yeah.
It's just odd how that works, but you've got a selective idea on going for target market. Now, tell us a little bit about your philosophy toward life and how does that affect your day-to-day relationships?
Well, I actually found that that's like the hard, most difficult question to answer. But anyway, I've been thinking a lot. I think life should be simple, easy, and happy, and a good cup of tea helps with that. The Gongfu style is about slowing down, enjoying natural flavors, and it's meant to be shared with the others, especially our loved ones like family and friends. That would be a good time. Being in the business of Kung Fu tea helps me to take each day at a time while find joy in the goodness and beauty of nature and share my passion with the others. And just like what I mentioned just now about going through COVID, in the past 1 year, really think that tea helped me to calm down, relax, focus on what I want to accomplish, what I need to do, and it influences my everyday.
When you and I were talking about doing this, we got started by me asking you certain questions about, for example, not just learning more about you and where you came from and about your company, but also giving us just a kind of a tutorial
Mhm.
on some tea. So I'm going to start uh, what's going to become your education of all of us on the difference in tea cakes and bingchá, even how to pronounce it. So you tell me when you'd like to advance a slide, but we'll begin this. And this is you teaching us a little bit more about the differences in them.
Okay, yeah, sure. So on this screen, it shows BingDao and BingCha. Um, we also see the Chinese characters. The one on the left is BingDao, the one on the right is BingCha. It sounds kind of similar, BING, but actually means different. Let's go to the next page. Okay, BingDao, it means Iceland, which is a famous tea village from Yunnan. Yunnan is well known for the pu'er tea in China. BingDao tea is known as the queen of pu'er tea, so it's like right next to Banjiang and Yiwu. It's kind of like almost the highest quality pu'er tea in China, and usually they are kind of expensive too. And the next one is 饼茶. So 饼 is the third tone in Chinese. 冰 is the first tone in Chinese, even though the English looks the same. 饼茶, it means round tea cakes. 饼 actually, at the beginning, it means cookie. Usually the cookies are like in the, it's kind of round. So 饼茶 means round tea cakes. The third one is 冰茶. It looks exactly the same as the second one, but the Chinese will be different. It's 冰茶, which means iced tea. 冰 is also the first tone, the same character as 冰岛. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So Chinese, there are 4 tones in Chinese. That is which all of them means different things. For example, when we say ma, the English, you can see there's only 2 words, that's ma. But if the pronunciation is different, and then the meaning will be totally different. For example, ma, it means mother. Ma, it means numb. The third one, ma, it means horse. The fourth tone, ma, it means scold. The same as bing. Bing means ice. Bing means cake. Bing means sick. So in Chinese, it means so different, while in English, you might see it's all the same. That's a little bit confusing, but kind of interesting to some people.
It's very subtle. The differences are subtle. When you first went through the top, I didn't get it. And then when you repeated it, I could hear the difference.
Yeah. All right. BingDao, as what we were talking about just now, is a tea village in Yunnan, and it's often made into tea cakes because so when the tea is made into tea cake shape, then it's easier to transport to somewhere else further without being broken like loose leaf tea. But some of the BingDao tea can be also in loose leaf or tea balls. For example, on the left is a tea ball. We call it dragon ball. On the right is loose leaf. Next page. These 2 are the BingDao tea in tea cake shape. Most of the tea cake shape, those tea, the standard ones could usually they are 357 gram, and we also have some smaller size. For example, the one on the left is 200 grams. Sometimes we also make it like 100 gram, but that's not very popular. And in the US, most people do not see tea cakes because most people don't know how to open a tea cake, and they think it's kind of complex. You have to have the tea knife or tea needle to open it, and then put a little bit in your tea when you're about to brew it. And it's more common to see loose leaf tea like the one on the right, and also some blended tea. Or I guess more common is the tea bags in the supermarket.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's just for convenient, but usually tea bags, its taste is not as good as the premium tea like loose leaf or tea cakes. This slide is showing the 饼茶. When we are talking about 饼茶, is the shape of the tea. Teas can be in different shapes like loose leaf, round tea cakes, tea balls, bricks, or even gourd. Just now when we were talking about BingDao, we were talking about the region, like the location. Where was this tea produced? Now here we are talking about the shape of the tea. Some people would think it would be confused. Are you talking about the shape of the tea, or the year of the tea, or the region of the tea, or how it is made, or what type of tea it is, and so on? The the people who are new to tea at the beginning is just so overwhelming because they don't understand what's the difference. So here we are talking about the shape of the tea. Let's go to the next page. Okay, here we can see some tea balls. They are in the little round shape, but it's like a ball, not flat. The tea cakes are kind of flat. It's round, but it's flat. But this is similar to an egg, but smaller. The one on the right is the dragon ball, as we saw just now. The one on the left, however, is a tangerine tea ball. It's made with a tangerine skin, but you take all the tangerine from outside, you take it out, and then you stuff the shōu pu'er inside of the tangerine tea ball, and then it will be kept for a long time. Of course, it's dried. And the little white part on the surface of this tea ball is the essence of the tangerine skin. So it's very important because when you see it, when you smell it, it has a very strong citric sense, and it's not mold or bad thing, but a very important part of the tangerine tea ball.
I've never seen such a thing. That's absolutely, it sounds delicious too, by the way.
I would love to send you some this week
Well, what, yeah,
as a free tea sample. Yeah.
great. Nothing like an open hint. That's gorgeous. We've got dried tangerine rind.
Yes, that's
Uh,
a dry tangerine tea.
wow.
And that one is actually about 14 years old. The shōu pu'er inside of that tea ball is 14 years old, and the tangerine is about 4 or 5 years old. And in this slide, you are seeing some bricks. They are made by tea. They're just in different shape. At the beginning, when people started to make the tea cakes or tea bricks, is mainly for transportation, because at that time it took a very long time to ship to carry the tea from China to the other areas, especially the other countries. Sometimes it took like several months to go to the destination. So it's easier to be made into compact tea, like tea bricks and tea cakes.
Yeah,
It's easier.
these had monetary value as well, didn't they? Especially the ones that were shaped like it's easy. It's a little bit easier to break off the small
Yeah. Yeah.
rectangles. But at the
Yes.
same time, you could pay a person by
Mhm.
so many of the little bricks.
Yeah, that the one on the left is we call it chocolate tea. It's made into chocolate shape, so every time you don't have to use a tea needle or tea knife to break it, cut it. You can just use your fingers, your hands to break one or two. Usually, one small is like this big small piece, and put it in the hot water. Start brewing. It's very convenient. All right, now we are seeing some gourd-shaped tea. These photos are from online because I don't have any by hand now, and these are not very common in the U.S. It's more common in the local tea shop, like in Yunnan and so on. You will see some in the like a huge one as high as a human being, about two, less than 2 meters. It's very high, and you will think, wow, that's huge, that's amazing. Let me go into. You will see it by the gate, and then you will think they must have some good tea. Then you will go into the tea shop and explore. On this slide, we see some bingchá, which is iced tea. At this time, we are talking about the temperature of the tea, like if it's cold, iced, or hot. But I guess most people know what is iced tea here. Yeah, it's very common, especially in Texas.
Yeah, the South in particular, but yeah,
Yeah.
Texas is
Hmm.
for sure. So do
Yeah.
you put sugar in this or just the peppermint leaf?
Uh, Actually, this picture is also online because I personally don't drink iced tea much. I usually just prefer hot tea made with hot water. Some people they put the peppermint and even some sugar in it, but I personally I don't put sugar in my tea.
Neither do I. Thank you for telling us about that. As you look ahead, by the way, if you could travel any place in the world, where would you like to go?
I would like to travel to the Wuyi Tea Mountain in Fujian, China. It's said that the best rock tea, the best oolong tea in the world can be found there. I would also like to experience making oolong tea with the local tea farmers there, and it's said that the environment is great. I would love to go there. I heard from my tea master a lot. I haven't had a chance to go yet.
Well, I sneaked this photo in
Mhm.
because I couldn't resist. I love the photos of Wuyi Mountain. Would love to go there, but look how steep the mountain is. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, very,
yeah.
very steep.
Uh-huh.
So that would be quite an experience to be plucking tea in the Wuyi Mountains.
Mhm.
I ask you too, what is your favorite tea book and why?
The Way of Cultivation in Chinese Tea by Wang Qiong. She's a Chinese tea master. I like this book because she not only teaches how to brew a cup of Chinese tea well, but also emphasizes the tea philosophy from Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism through everyday tea brewing. I took some of her courses in China and I was amazed by how she brews tea, and I would love to bring that culture to the US. It's great.
Well, I found this book cover photo on Amazon and clipped and
Mhm.
pasted it just in case people were searching for it. But would you pronounce her name for us again, please?
Yes, of course. It's called Wang Qiong. Wang is her first family name. Qiong is her first name. Wang Qiong
Very
is
interesting. Is the book
mm,
is the interior, for example, on Amazon, do you know in advance, is it in English inside or is it in
no.
Chinese? It's okie dokie.
Yes. So far they only have Chinese version. They don't have English version yet.
We might need you to translate that for us.
We will see. Hopefully, I would love to.
Yeah, after all this discussion about all these wonderful teas and your kind of brief education for us, what are you drinking? What's in your cup right now?
Today we are drinking the 2014 BingDao, the one and the BingDao tea cake picture on the left, uh, one of the slides we saw just now.
Uh-huh.
Cheers, everybody.
That's great. Well, I won't keep you long here, but I will ask you, what's ahead for your company? What kinds of things would you like to have happen?
So for my company, I'm still focusing on the social marketing these days and also trying to see more feedback from my customers. I would love to know what they think of my tea that samples and what do they expect and what niche market would be better for me. I'm still trying to build my brand right now and also would love to do much more on the Facebook page, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and so on. Let more people know about my tea business.
And your Etsy shop. I'll make sure to
Yes.
post your links on
Mhm.
this. For the
Yes.
outro, we'll put up those things because I think people
Uh-huh.
would be very interested.
Yeah, and I also would love to have a tea shop later, sometime when COVID ends. I would love to have the tea shop with all of my premium tea and tea-ware from China and brew tea for customers. And I would love to have some private tea rooms for them to just invite their family and friends to come sit down and enjoy the Gongfu style tea brewing and have a nice tea party, a Chinese tea party, but not a Western style high tea party. It's
You know,
different.
I know exactly what you're talking about. In
Uh-huh.
doing tea tea tastings, for example, inviting people to come have tea before the store opens. People come in and, they're in somewhat of a hurry to get there. And then they sit down and begin to have tea. And an hour later, it's like going to a spa. It's so relaxing besides
Yeah.
everything you've had to drink. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to you opening your public tea room or things changing so you could actually
Mhm.
open that.
I hope so. Thank you.
Thank you for today. And we'll be talking with you again soon. We'll do some other podcasts, some other mini classes. How's that?
That's great. Thank you for inviting. I'm glad to be here talking with you.
Thank you to our guest for sharing time with us today. And thank you for tuning in. Linger longer with us. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to teatrademark.com to subscribe to our newsletter, catch our next episode, and follow us on social media. This is Jennifer Petersen with Tea Trademark, reminding you that Tealand is a happy place.